Okay, I have been MIA for a while, and I wanted to pop in, and it's been pretty hectic, but I wanted to kind of give a little bit of a recap of the 9 months that I have been in here now, and what worked for me and what didn't, mostly in terms of the van in particular, and then a little bit about van life, but I will share some of the adventures in another video at some point. So to recap for those that aren't familiar, I started van life about 9 months ago. Last year, about this time, I had decided that van life was something I wanted to give a try. I had an adult child moving out, who she was graduating, and then she was going to be moving to start graduate school. And so it was a perfect opportunity for me to sell my place and give it a go. I put my place on the market at the end of June, figuring that I would have, several months to prepare and do my research and kind of like get ready and find the van that I wanted. I had an accepted offer before the end of the night. So everything kind of went into overdrive. Luckily, I had done a little bit of research and I had narrowed it down that I knew that I wanted to stay away from the Dodge Rams. I had heard kind of horror stories about those. I knew that I wanted something that was kind of like ready to go. I knew I didn't have a lot of time to put any work into it and do craft it. So things that were important to me, I thought, were I wanted a bed that was stationary, that I didn't have to like assemble and put together every night. I wanted it to be flat, ready to go. I wanted a shower and I wanted a toilet. I wanted the ability to cook. I wanted water. I wanted internet. And I think those were the big things that I thought that I wanted. Oh, and storage. So I was in a super big rush when the place sold so quickly. And luckily, I came across this one that I thought fit what I needed. And I had a friend take a look at it. The timing with the person who was selling it and travel and all that kind of stuff kind of worked out. I talked about that a little bit before in another video. And I went with it. I bought it. And then at the beginning of August, I had to have everything gone out of my place and in storage and the van here. And I was doing travel for work in between there too. It was chaotic. It was a mess. And I kind of just like packed this van as full as possible, not knowing what I was going to need, not knowing what I was going to do. I did think that I wanted to mainly boondock. I was hoping to be out in nature as much as possible. And I had my kitty along with me, and he was actually one of the major reasons that I had decided I wanted to give this a try, because I was traveling so much for work, and now with my daughter gone, moving out, I didn't want him going for a week at a time with nobody in the house, and I wanted him to be able to come with me. So what did work for me and what didn't? Windows. All these have is small little crank out windows, and there is almost no ventilation. Did not work for me. I like fresh air. I like movement of air, and it makes it such that you really have to depend on heating or cooling a lot, even when you don't want to. Like, it gets really, really hot in here, even if it's not super hot outside. And that was a big thing. Even though I could deal with it quite a bit, my little fur ball, I was always worried about him. The shower. I ended up using it almost never, because the thing is once you start getting on the road and you are using your water to cook and to clean, and you're trying to do that scantily, you're trying to conserve as much as possible. And it just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the effort of trying to use the shower. And going to Planet Fitness was actually what I ended up doing for my showering, which was convenient because it motivated me to get my workout in, and it was much more enjoyable than trying to cram myself into the little shower and try and like get my hair underneath there. And at least it was like a fuller shower at Planet Fitness. So honestly, if I were to find a new van, the inside shower I wouldn't bother with. The toilet, yes, that was really critical. That was super important. As a female, you can't just go outside and like, take care of business very often. So that was really, really helpful. I have a refrigerator that operates on the propane off of the battery and off of, what's the other one? Electric. Oh, the generator. Duh, the generator. Super convenient. I tried to not use it a ton because I was trying to like conserve my propane. I didn't know how much that would burn. And I wanted to save that for the air conditioning when I needed that. And after a while, I learned that propane really is pretty useful, and it doesn't require a ton. And so I began to run it off of the propane a lot more. I didn't like running it off of the battery because you would forget to turn it off when you stop, and that was a huge drain on the battery. Another thing that did not work for me was the internet. Starlink was a complete bust for me. I have the standard, that's what was on here, and I could not maintain a signal. Whenever I tried to take a meeting that I needed to on Teams, it would not stay operational. So that was a big downfall for me. I know a lot of people love it. I know a lot of people say the mini is great. The standard did not work for me as far as signal, and also it was a big drain on power. Power is always a thing. So I could have tried the mini, but honestly, the standard felt like such a bust that I didn't want to spend the time on it and invest in that. So I ended up having to stay within town, city limits as much as possible, and work out of coffee shops. So although I did some like nature time, most of it was actually city living, which is okay, but not the way I envisioned what I wanted to do. Let's see, what else? Air conditioning was super, super important. I tried to not use it a lot, but I needed it. And that ran off of the propane and generator. And that, when you turned it on, was super, super effective. And it kept the fur ball cool, and it kept me cool. There were nights where unfortunately, I had to go where work was and where things were going on. And I was often in the hottest places at the hottest times. So that was inconvenient, but it worked. Let's see, what else? This Bluetti power box was a savior is a bit dramatic, but it saved me for power a lot of times. Because I really couldn't do my internet, I ran off of my phone a lot, but even that, it drains, and I would have no way of powering it because my cabin batteries ended up draining quickly. And they were kind of like, they wouldn't recharge anymore. And unfortunately, I didn't have time in a lot of my travels to get that fixed. And so this saved me as far as being able to power up my electronics. That's something too that did not work for me, the cabin batteries. Now that I had a chance to get them replaced and they're new ones, yes, that powers things well, but it did not power. It pretty much died And unfortunately, it died during some of those cool times when I was in like 20-degree weather. And that was needed to be able to kick in the furnace for heat. When I was in Utah, in some of the cold parks, the one was the worst, and I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head right now, but it kicked on once and then it wouldn't kick back in again because there was no power. There wasn't enough power or juice in the batteries. So that was very cold. I spent quite a few nights actually in my travels over the winter in 20-degree weather. Thankfully, Pendletons are super, super good at keeping you warm. So that with my comforter managed to keep me warm. But I will say getting up in the morning was not fun. Yes. Let's see what else. Storage was really good. It managed to pack a lot of my stuff in, but everything is packed in there so tightly, like a little jigsaw puzzle, that you can't get to stuff very easily a lot of times. So you end up grabbing kind of the same clothes all the time. Let's see what else. Oh, I have a TV, which when I had my batteries operational was actually really convenient for plugging in my laptop. So I had extended screen until I was used to having like 2 big screens on my laptop. So until I could kind of transition back into just dealing off of one small screen for work, that was super helpful until my batteries died and I did not have that power anymore. So it's kind of just taking up space. Let's see. What else? Oh, a microwave. I have a microwave, which I knew I would never use because I do not microwave stuff, and I didn't use it. It's basically a cabinet for me to store my dishes. That was something too. I did not want to succumb to using paper plates all the time. I didn't want all that trash, and I wanted to maintain some resemblance to like living in a normal place. And so dishes, I did do dishes. I wanted to have real dishes. Hot plate, I have a gas 2-burner stove. Not stove, burners. That was primo. I cooked a lot of food on there. I do miss baking though. So when I was in places that actually, if I was in an Airbnb for work or something like that, or a family trip, I did take advantage of being able to use an oven and do a little bit of baking. I missed that. I missed being able to make my gluten-free sourdough bread. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's it. So for me, the things that I really would need in the future would be the toilet, the propane, the air, hopefully a heater that worked because your batteries are actually working. I would want a vehicle that had more ventilation. I don't know if there are sliding windows where you could open that up and get way more air in it, but I don't like it. So that's a big no for me. But yeah, other than that, I think it was a good pick. It was a good pick for like just jumping into it and finding out. And so it's had a couple of things that I had to deal with along the way, and I could talk about that at another time. But yeah, I'm glad I did it. I'm ready to transition back into maybe more of a stable situation. The thing is, I don't know where yet. I don't know what I'm doing yet. The other part that I would say that because of the internet not working the way I had wanted it to, being a regular 9 to 5, that really impacted how I was able to go about and doing what I wanted to do. I did some amazing things, amazing places I got to visit, but it was always like, okay, I need to be where I need to be able to do my 9 to 5. So if I were to continue doing van life, I would really need to make the decision as to whether or not I would need to find a different type of employment that offered me more flexibility so that I could actually do more of that nature type of living rather than having to stay within cities constantly. So, yeah, thanks for stopping in and listening.